All right, hopefully this is a little better. I have a 2.5-year-old phone, so it's starting to fall apart, and I apologize for the inconvenience. Up, and the camera's facing the wrong way. All right, so this is better. All right, I'm really sorry for that. Um, okay, glad to see it's working better now, and we can actually start this live stream. Thank you for everybody for bearing with me on that. Um, all right, so just gonna say hello to some people here in the chat. Bernsey, Michigan Railroad Productions, Train Lover 66, M Slicks Trains, Ian's Trains, DNH 2906 Production, Northeast Penn Productions. Thank you everybody for stopping in today. Thanks. This shirt is actually from Amtrak's website honoring their 50th anniversary. So made sure to pick it up. How's it going, RBP trains, Chris? It's all going good. Here on the layout, running some trains, so it's gonna be a good evening. I'm sorry I keep looking to on the side. I have my computer set up and I'm looking at my phone, so if I'm looking off to the screen, sorry about that. Wow, thank you, Michigan Railroad Productions. That's my first super chat ever because I don't stream a lot, but thank you so much. If there's a particular train that you want to see on the layout tonight, just let me know and I will put it on. Currently, I have the K4 sitting behind me, and I also have the New York and Atlantic MP15 from MTH there. But yeah, that's what I was planning on running tonight. But if you guys leave a super chat and there's a engine that you want to see run on the layout, I'm more than happy to put it on the layout for you guys. I finally counted today, and it turns out I have 20 engines, which is more than I thought. But love each and every one of them. Northeast Penn Production. So I have a 2.5-year-old phone. It's time for an upgrade. I actually can't record videos like selfie style because I'll get that same static. This morning when I was recording videos for the channel, I wasn't having that problem with the front-facing camera, but this is my first time streaming through my iPhone, so that might have been causing the static. Amtrak has a P42 shirt. They're just not my style. Michigan Railroad Productions, the New York Central 10-wheeler. You got it, bud. Hopefully the quality is okay. All right, perfect. All right, on my computer is streaming in 144, so thank you, Matt. So how's everybody doing today? Long Island Railroad RS1. I actually just had that on the layout earlier. We can run that later. I'll start with the K4 and I'll throw the 10-wheeler on in a little bit. And then I'll put the RS1 on later. But if you guys have any questions for me, because I don't do a lot of live streams, so if you guys have questions for me or I ask them in the comments, just put them in the live chat and I'll try to answer them. Northeast Penn Productions. I didn't see your video, but I did see the release that MTH just put out about that they're going to continue under a separate company. And I think a lot of us saw that, for a long time now, especially with MTH announcing all these limited releases. They were just putting out way too much product to all of a sudden call it quits, especially since 2 days ago marked the 1-year anniversary of MTH announcing that they were closing. So I'm excited that MTH is going to live on. I'm an MTH guy. I love MTH trains, and I'm really excited to see Proto Sounds 3 live on. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, graduation. I now have to somewhat be a real adult starting in 3 weeks. So, in between graduation and starting a real job, I'm going to be a child and play with my toy trains. So, eh, not a bad gig. I, See, I'm an MTH person because I really like the PFA sequences on the MTH trains. I mean, I just picked up my first Lionel Legacy engine, and it's a really high quality engine. But I like the sounds on the K on this, K4 that's $250 less compared to the 10 wheeler. I like being able to hear town names of places that I know, stations that I've stopped at before, compared to a New York Central 10 wheeler, where it's more or less, we're stopped at the signal and they can copy and paste it into every locomotive. Hey, Brendan's Trains. I prefer the sounds and quality of MTH, but my first Lionel locomotive was the Union Pacific 9000. Uh, so the 10 wheeler was my first legacy engine, but when I was little, I started with the Lionel Ready to Run set. So there was a span of 7 or so years where I would religiously buy Lionel just because I thought that was the only real manufacturer of O scale trains. My first ever train set was an MTH Rail King set, but I didn't like the way the couplers worked on the trains, and it didn't work. The couplers on my MTH stuff didn't work well with the Lionel Ready to Run stuff, and so I always preferred the Lionel stuff. And now here I am, almost religiously buying MTH. Although I do have way too many Lionel and MTH trains on pre-order right now. So I would say of all of the 20 engines that I have now, I believe 15 of them are MTH and 5 of them are Lionel. So yeah, M Slicks until the Acellas come. Yeah. Can't even run them on this layout. I have 048 curves and it needs 072. I also ordered the expansion set of the Acela, so from front to back, that train will be 14 feet long. And to put that into reference, my layout now is only about 11 and a half feet long. Yeah, Bob, you always need just one more train. Burnsy, it's because Lionel hasn't put out an M1A recently, so you haven't had a reason to buy anything brand new Lionel. There's always something up and coming. Yep. So I've been really busy this week while I've been home. Um, I've recorded and edited so far 9 or 10 videos. I've lost track at this point. But there was a span of 2 days where I did nothing but film, and I filmed and edited 8 videos in 2 days. So 4 videos a day, which may not seem a lot, but if I'm trying to make a 10-minute video, that's at least 10 minutes of filming. I have to take everything out of the boxes, put it on the track, uh, and talk, which it takes multiple takes for every video I do because I always mess up, I stutter, or something along those lines. And then I always have to get the right shot. In fact, for my New York Central 10-wheeler video, there's a scene where the Mikado passes in front of the barn, and then just as that train finishes passing, these 10-wheeler cuts in front, and that passes. That one shot took me over half an hour to film. 10 seconds, but took me over half an hour to film. Just because my arm would keep hitting something, or I wouldn't get the camera perfectly straight, and that was a mess. But that's the commitment I try to put into my videos to make them as good as possible. I spent 30 minutes for a 10-second clip. The 10 wheelers are really good engines. Okay, that's my second, but this is my first like actual modern legacy whistle steam Bluetooth. I thought about picking up the Southern, but one, I have way too many pre-orders, and I was talking with someone who has the Southern 460, and he says that the shade of green is 2 shades too light. Probably wouldn't look good next to my Lionel 4501. So because of that, I'm gonna hold off. I'm trying to be responsible, financially responsible. Hey, Steve. Hope you're doing well. Burnsy, very true. The man who dies with the most trains wins. RJ, what happens to the M9 video? What M9 video? Sounds good, Robert. Um, Tell Corey I said hello. Hope he's doing good. I'm sure he's finishing. He's getting ready to finish up school right about now. What's my dream model engine? Um, Give me a MTH Long Island Railroad G5 with the whistle steam smoke effect and a swinging bell, but with the MTH sounds. That's my dream locomotive. If Sid's Trains is watching this right now, he probably will say, I can do that, or starts drawing up the plans to do it. But that's my dream locomotive because I love the whistle steam effect. Swinging bell is awesome, but I want to be able to, so it says my hometown, now stopping at, this is a Ronkonkoma branch train. All right, M Slicks. The M7 is the Lionel model that I have now. Is that the one what you're talking about? What was the biggest impulse buy of all time? The minute you saw it, you had to have it. Oof. Good question. Very good question. I want to say my biggest impulse buy was my Legacy 10 wheeler. Not to, just keep going on and on about it. But there's actually a funny story behind this. So like the first day the catalog was live, the Lionel Volume 2 2020 catalog, I was checking all of the different hobby stores to see what their pre-order price was. And so when I went to Mr. Muffin's, I wanted to buy the Legacy 10 wheeler, but I was going to put it on layaway to see what that payment plan was like. And instead of hitting like see the layaway plan, it checked me out, and I ended up spending $800 that I wasn't prepared to spare because I ordered a couple of other things from that catalog. So I saw it in the catalog, and about 2 hours later, I already paid for it, and I got it 10 months later. I mean, I don't regret it, but that was a huge impulse buy. The only other one that comes to mind is the my MTH Rail King SD45, the Norfolk Southern, which I haven't ran in forever on this channel just because I've gotten so many other trains recently. But I had no plans of buying that. Walked into a hobby store while visiting some family, and I walked out with it. And I was much younger at the time, so I'm gonna go with that was the more financially irresponsible purchase, but I still love it. Hey Kurt, my day's going good. M Slick, I don't DM me on Instagram. I don't remember doing saying I was gonna do a video on them. I am gonna get some work done. Sid's from Sid's Trains. He's gonna do some work on them in the not near future, but sometime in the future. I'm bringing them back down to DC with me, and he's gonna install TMCC and LED lighting in those, just because they need them, and I want to be able to run it on a command control layout. Thank you, Northeast Penn Productions. Brendan's Trains. What is my favorite model engine? It's the K4 right behind me. MTH Rail King. Do Bachman make O gauge? Yes, they do make O gauge. They make it under the Williams line, but they haven't really put out anything new over the past 3 or so years. They come out with an engine every 3 or so years, and most of the times they end up sitting around the hobby shops for years. Um, You can buy Bachman Williams engines brand new in the box for less than 60% what the suggested retail price is, just because nobody enjoys buying them. Ian's Trains, great question. When is the next Model Train Talk podcast coming out? So both Sam and I, we have a podcast channel, the Model Train Talk podcast, where we interview different people. Now, Sam has been really busy. He's a varsity athlete at his college, so he's been really busy with school and swimming. I just finished up school and I was doing a part-time internship. So, between the two of us, we had less than 5 spare hours a week to record, edit, and the whole 9 yards. But we are going to be interviewing someone who is in the chat tonight, Bob. He hasn't commented in a minute, but he's watching. He's in the chat tonight. He's a really interesting guy. He's got a great collection. He's also a fireman on Chesapeake and Ohio 614 and a list of other things. He's got some really cool model and real train stories to tell, so that's going to be a really good podcast. Oh, have I added anything Delaware and Hudson to the collection? Short answer, no. Long answer is I have two Lionel D&H passenger cars on pre-order. In their last catalog, they did the Alco set with the 4-passenger car pack, the Station Sounds Diner, and a 2-passenger car pack. I had the 2-pack on pre-order because one of the passenger cars is lettered for Scroon Lake, which is where I would go on vacation. My grandparents had a cabin pretty much in Scroon. And so I have a lot of childhood memories there. So that's why I ordered that coach car. If I have extra money when the set comes in, I want to get the Alcos in the 4-car set, but that's a lot of money. And I am just getting out of college and starting a job, so I don't imagine that I'll have that kind of money. But I definitely want to pick up like an RS11 or a D&H C420 in the near future to pull those passenger cars. Burnsy, what is an engine you've seen in shops multiple times and you know you want it, but you just can't buy it? Great question. For the longest time, it was an MTH Premier New York and Atlantic GP38-2. That's a short line freight railroad here on Long Island. They run the Long Island Railroad's freight operations. I'd go into Train World probably 3 or 4 years, and they had a model of it sitting in the display case, and eventually ended up selling. That was certainly one. And even a little bit, just a few years ago, Train World had just one sitting on their website for the longest time, and that was one I really wanted. Never got it, and now they're impossible to find. What new item am I most excited for coming from M Slicks? So my well, it's got to be the Acela, just because of the amount I have invested in it. That's going to be a really fun set. I've also ridden on it a bunch of times. Train World is also doing a bunch of custom Long Island Railroad engines with MTH. They've cataloged 8. I've ordered 3. So it's going to be really exciting to get those 3 in. William X, can we get a close-up of the K4? It looks real sharp. Yep, I'm going to start running the trains here in a minute, and I'll make sure to include a close-up of it. Michigan Railroad Productions. How do I watch the podcast? So you're going to go search on YouTube, Model Train Talk Podcast, and it should be the first one to come up. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background. Brendan's Trains. What is your favorite railroad? Long Island Railroad. My pride and joy. I'm just from Long Island. Born on Long Island, raised on Long Island. Rode the Long Island Railroad a lot in my life. So, here we are. Long Island Railroad's my favorite. Hi, dog. My dog has decided to come down. Hi, Cecilia. I have a Lionel train kit I use for Christmas. Lionel trains are perfect to go around the tree. Houston 747. Are you interested in restoring to restore Long Island Railroad equipment like real train cars. I keep up on tabs on the restoration efforts of the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum and number 39, which is owned by the Railroad Museum of Long Island. Sorry, my dog is making an obscene amount of noise right now walking on the wood floor. But I'm interested in it. I really hope it happens, but uh, and they've gotten permission to run steam locomotives on Long Island, but I hope it happens. I don't have the mechanical ability to actually work on restorations though. Hey, Rail Chief 74. Brandon's Trains. I wish MTH would make the triplex again. I do too. I would definitely order a triplex. Rail Chief 74. What's your thoughts on MTH moving forward with their new location? I think I addressed this like at the very beginning, but there was like two people watching and my mic kept cutting in and out. MTH situation, I think a lot of us have seen coming for a long time now. When they first started announcing new product in November, December of 2020, it was just, you can't shut down the business in May and then be announcing new products that are going to deliver in the fall of 2021. I think MTH's game plan going forward, I think, is really smart. They're only going to be producing to the order quantities that they're getting. So if a hobby shop orders 200 engines, they're only going to make 205. I think that's really good. It saves on overhead cost and theoretically should bring down the price of the train. Similarly, they're also really looking at partnering with hobby stores, and I think that's a really good thing. Just because that means that we get custom runs that we normally wouldn't get. I know that I have 3 engines on pre-order with Train World because they're doing 8 different Long Island Railroad paint schemes. I know that there are in discussions to do other Long Island Railroad equipment. I have items on pre-order, custom runs with Stockyard Express, and it's really good that traditionally MTH would only do 5 road names and that's it. But with partnering with the local hobby stores, they're able to do a greater variety of road names so people can get road names that they're dying for that just aren't typically produced. What's up, Maddie C? Northeast Penn Productions. What is my favorite steam locomotive surviving today? Well, besides Long Island Railroad 39 and 35, which are in pieces right now, steam locomotives in operation, that would have to be Strasburg 90, just because I used to go to Strasburg a ton as a little kid, and the first time I went back after almost a dozen years, the first locomotive was 90, so I have the attachment to 90. In fact, in my intro and outro and all my videos, that's actually 90's whistle. All right, Houston, I'll take you up on that offer. Brendan's Trains, what's my least favorite steam locomotive? Southern 2716, the Berkshire. That just doesn't look right. Rail Chief, I feel like this is Atlas's answer to buying Lionel buying American Flyer. Not really. To make the tooling to create one locomotive, like Lionel recently created a new tooling for the SW8s, and a very small diesel, less than a foot in length, and that tooling probably cost Lionel at least 6 figures to make. So I think it's more or less Atlas expanding their portfolio at a fraction of the cost that it would normally take. Yes, SAS Entertainment. This is a really good point for everybody watching right now. So starting next week, I'm going to be doing a cross-country Amtrak trip, starting in, actually a mile away from here at my home Long Island Railroad station, and taking the train all the way out to Seattle. Going to be doing some fun stuff in Chicago and Seattle. I'm going to film all of it, and I'm going to try my hardest to upload a new video every single day. Depends how spotty Wi-Fi is on the train. I don't know how great the uploading ability to YouTube will be in Minot, North Dakota on an Amtrak train, but I'm going to do my best to get a new video out every day. Brandon's Trains. What's your favorite extinct steam locomotive? That would be a New York Central Hudson. New Hope and Ivy Line 40 is a nice one. Thank you, thank you. I just hit 2.5 the other day. I think it was yesterday. Um, this live stream isn't because I hit that milestone, but it was a fun coincidence. Would you ever buy a Lion Master Big Boy? I would consider it. I'm at this phase right now where I'm trying to only buy scale stuff, but I don't have the room to run scale stuff. Like perfect example, the Acela. I'm paying pretty much the price of a big boy for that Acela. Um, but I can't run it on my layout. It's more of an investment of my future in the hobby. I'm just also not a huge fan of the big boys. They've been way overdone. If I had $3,000 to burn, then I would get a big boy. But I would get either 4014 or 4012. I've seen 4012 up at Scranton, at Steamtown. So maybe I would get it, but I'd rather buy two Hudsons than one big boy. Hello, Kevin Johnson. What is your impression of the Amtrak Acela if money wasn't an option? Well, I have it pre-ordered, so you, I think it's interesting. I'm excited to hear the station announcements. Not having the doors open, I understand why Lionel had to do it. I would prefer it if those doors did open, but what the heck? It's the last time that Lionel's ever going to make the Acela, so I figured I might as well order it now because it's never going to get done again. Hello, Rich. Yes, I would get a New York Central Hudson if money wasn't an issue. I really want a Lionel Vision Line 700E Hudson. Favorite articulated engine? Uh, Probably a Challenger. All right, the questions are starting to die down, so I think I'm going to fire up the engines. I'll get the K4 going first, and then I'll put the 10-wheeler on the tracks and take the New York and Atlantic switcher off. We all get scale disease, and then you realize traditional is charming. And I have been starting to collect post-war stuff. I've really fallen in love with post-war over the last year or so. One day I'd like a little, not a huge layout, just more or less a circle with some post-war accessories. I think that would be fun. And post-war fits underneath the tree better. But, all right. I'm going to be off camera for a second, but I'm going to fire up the K4. You'll see that running around, and I'm going to put the New York Central 10-wheeler up on the layout. So I'm going to do that right now. First time running trains on a live stream, and I've already got a derailment. I blame this on you guys. I am sorry about that. We're gonna get the K4 going now. Not the K4, the 10-wheeler. First ever Lionel piece I got was a conventionally controlled H16-44. And of course now the sounds aren't working on the 10-wheeler. Thank you, Robert. I just wanted to turn the K4 off. Wow, thank you 2003 more. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat because I've been trying to get the trains to work. But thank you so much. If there's anything you want to see, I'll put it on the layout. The 10-wheeler, I think I just needed to turn off the power and turn it back on again. Hopefully that fixes the engine. There's the 10-wheeler. There we go. Alright, 10-wheeler's back. We're all good now. Here's the 10-wheeler for everybody. Kevin Johnson. Yeah, the Vision Line stuff is really good compared to the Vision Line stuff, but it's also semi-scale. I think that Rail King's better bargain for your buck compared to a JLC model, but that's just my opinion. So am I running my 10-wheeler command control or conventionally? I picked up a DCS remote. Thank you very much, Bob, for helping me. And so I'm running it controlling this. So engine, and then
Yes, Bob, that's a K-Line smoking caboose. Really cool. I have a Long Island one like it too. I think I want to pick up a D&H one. M Slicks asked a really good question. How am I running my DCS my TMCC engine with a DCS remote? And if you have a TMCC commander base, you're able to, if you hook it up with the TIU, you can control TMCC engines with the DCS remote. It also works on the app. Whistle steam is the best. Out of the 4 whistles on the 10-wheeler, which do I like the most? I can only control one, and I really like the default one, so I'm probably going to keep it as that one. So if I've had any problems with the 10-wheeler, no, I have not, thankfully. I've heard of other people having a few problems, but it's working perfectly right out of the box. Let's move the camera and get a different angle. Here's my favorite scene on the layout. Randy Jacobs, have I thought about getting a cab too? I have, and I will eventually one day. But with me not going to be on Long Island for my new job that I'm starting, I don't have a need to get a cab 2 immediately. I'm sure they're going to be around one day, so one day I will eventually pick one up. Hey, John Cody. Will I be building a new layout in DC? Well, my new apartment in DC is going to be about 450 square feet. So the answers to that is going to be no, but one day I will. What's your opinion on Lionel's voiceover feature on the Line Chief Plus app? I think that's really cool. I hope that it's in the new Legacy locomotive so I can record my own station stops. Recording station stops would be really cool, especially in I know in the MTH engines I could record my own station stops and have them edited, installed. I have a friend who does that, Matt Trainlover9943, and I plan on doing that with him sometime in the near future. But in the Lionel ones, it would be really cool because of how generic the sounds are. I mean, I'll play them on the 10-wheeler as it passes. Yeah, I know that. My thing is that I don't want my voice on a train because I don't like the sound of my voice. So I'll probably have one of my family members record station stop sounds. This way, it would be cool to have their voices on a train. So Anthony, I actually have the TIU and WIU currently, but I don't like using my phone, and I use my phone to record all of my videos. So it's really difficult to blow the whistle and record a video at the same time. In fact, it's impossible. So that's why I really love having this remote, and it's pretty much gold. I think I have time to change out for one more engine. Any other engines that you'd like to see run tonight? Oh yes, the RS1. I promised that earlier. Alright, I'll get that going now. So John Cody, I actually have made a video. Well, I've made one video so far about the DC subway system, where I compared it to the speed of the Virginia commuter railway. That's a really cool video. I did that one with my girlfriend, so that's on my channel if you want to check that out. I'm just getting the RS1 on track here. Did you guys see that accident? Thanks, Kisco Falls Railroad. I can't wait to see a video on the 10-wheeler that you guys got. You know, the guy passed out at the switch tower. The Long Island Railroad is famous for guys making $200,000 in overtime, so he was just doing his fair share. So the New York Central is pulling 3 different kinds of hoppers. The 2 Long Island ones are both Lionel. The southern one is a MTH Premier, and the Pennsylvania Railroad one is K-Line. It's a die-cast car, so none of them. Randy Jacobs, the RS1 does have smoke, but the way MTH assembled it at the factory, it was done cheaply, and I need to take the shell off and fix it. It's an easy fix, but it does have smoke, but I have the smoke unit turned off for now. Also, I'm sorry if I missed anybody else's questions while the trains have been running. It's hard to control the trains. make sure they're not derailing, and check the live chat. But I'm doing my best. Do I ever weight my rolling stock for better operation? Some cars I do, some cars I don't. A lot of the new like top of the line stuff, you don't need to add weights to it. In fact, that Pennsylvania hopper, that actually weighs a few pounds on its own because it's all die cast. But typically I don't. But there is one or two cars that I have. Randy Jacobs, yes, MTH is doing a ton of Long Island. A lot of it is fancy, but Train World and MTH are really taking my wallet. See, I've got a friend of mine who also got this Long Island RS1, and his smoke unit wasn't working. So I guess it's some of them do, some of them don't. Welcome back, Northeast Penn Productions. Alright, I'm going to start wrapping down the train running here. Just because the smoke's starting to get to me. My phone's about to die, so I'm going to start bringing them in. I'll answer a few more questions, and then we'll call it a night. Take care, Steven. Thank you for stopping in.
Make sure the sand bins are topped off. She ran great. Take care. See you soon.
Alright, and there it is. Let's get the camera back in position. I'll get the trolley to shut up. Alright. I mean, M Slicks, the RS1 is a pretty common engine. Actually, MTH is doing another run of them here. because Train World announced a Long Island Railroad RS1 in the as delivered scheme, so that means they're doing a huge run of the RS1s in the near future. I'm jealous of the smoking whistle. I definitely, yeah. Now that I've have a locomotive with the smoking whistle, I can't go back. Yes, New York streetcar. It's actually for Brooklyn. Yeah, Northeast Penn Productions. I'm sorry about the violent camera shake. I was just adjusting it so you weren't looking at my chest while I was talking. Thank you, John Cody. If there are any more questions, I'll ask them now. Yeah, I'm jealous of that 611 M Slicks. Maybe one day I'll pick up the Lionel Legacy version. I need to get the Lionel version, despite the fact I prefer MTH, just because I have a Lionel Southern 4501, and I want to be able to triple head it 4501, 611, 1218 to represent the Norfolk Southern Steam program in the early 90s. Thank you, Robert. Yes, this is the Menards Amtrak station behind me. So you guys watching the live stream get a special early look. I'm going to be doing a video on it. Actually, I filmed the video for it this morning, but I probably won't release it for another few weeks. Like I said, I have about 10 videos right now saved in storage. So next Wednesday starts the trip around across the country, and then I'm going to be uploading once a week every Wednesday morning, just because it's right in the middle of the week, so something to get you through hump day. And so I have enough videos to get me until September right now, which is really good. I actually just recently got this Amtrak station, but yeah, it's awesome. I love Amtrak, so makes sense. Hopefully the station has lettering that it's a Northeast Corridor station, but I think on a future layout, I want this to be like a scenic station in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of a forest. Make it like a national park station. Hey Johnny, hope you're doing good. We're just wrapping up here, but better late than never. Thank you, Northeast Penn Productions. I think it's gonna be really cool. Um, I am probably gonna pick up some things just to improve video production, but it's still gonna be on my camera, but on my phone. But I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna be taking the Lakeshore Limited from New York City to Chicago, just because that's an old New York Central train. My great grandfather worked for the New York Central, and that's one route in particular that I want to do. And then I'm taking the Empire Builder from Chicago to Seattle, and that goes through Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, and Idaho. I think under no other circumstances would the average person visit those three states. So I'm going to be really excited to take the train through there. Thank you, John Cody. Oh, okay, Northeast Penn Production. Have a good evening, Slag Cat. I'll be a little bit out of the way from Charleston,